The sun sets over the Laptev Sea, leaving the sky gray and icebergs floating in the cold. A polar bear cub searches for fish on the thin ice, innocently following its mother, unaware of the approaching storm. Suddenly, the wind howls, snow flies, separating the cub from its mother in the chaos. The bear staggers, clinging to the ice as it cracks, drifting farther and farther from shore. The cub's weak growls are gradually lost in the snow and wind, unable to reach its mother. On the lonely piece of ice, the cub shivers, hungry and frightened by the sudden change in weather. In the midst of its despair, it sees the flickering lights of a cargo ship moving through the frozen waters. The ship, the Valiant, commanded by Captain James, is making its final season voyage. Leonard, a tall sailor, stood on the watch deck, suddenly saw a white figure flickering among the broken ice. He called Rosie, the only female sailor on board, to confirm whether it was a drifting bear or not. Rosie was stunned when she realized that the small creature was a polar bear cub, seemingly in a life-threatening situation. She quickly ran to inform Captain James and Michael, who were in charge of the ship's machinery. James listened to the description, his eyes looking into the distance, deciding that he could not turn a blind eye. He ordered ropes and life nets to be prepared and asked everyone to stay safe because bears, even small ones, could be dangerous. Valiant slowly approached the rocking iceberg, where the cub was about to fall into the water from exhaustion. Leonard threw the net around the iceberg, creating a temporary grip, trying to stop it from drifting further. The bear cub seemed to have noticed the presence of humans. It stretched out its claws to cling to the edge of the ice, squinting to look up at the ship. The wind from the Laptev Sea blew hard, making everyone on the deck shiver with cold. Rosie slowly lowered the rope ladder, calling the bear cub in a gentle voice, hoping it would be less afraid. The bear cub let out a hoarse groan, trying to crawl up to the rope ladder but ended up slipping down. Michael immediately grabbed one end of the rope, climbed to the edge of the ship, and watched for the bear cub to approach and pull it up. The cold waves crashed in, making the deck slippery, making rescue difficult. The bear cub risked its life to stretch its entire body into the air, clinging tightly to the net, its eyes filled with hope for help. Leonard shouted loudly, cooperating with Michael to use all his strength to pull the bear cub up, afraid that it would fall back into the icy water. Finally, the bear landed on the deck, fell down, breathing weakly and its chest heaving with fatigue. Rosie immediately wrapped a thick blanket around it, using a towel to wipe the water off its white fur. The cub opened its eyes, looking scared, but no longer had the strength to run away or fight back. Captain James observed the situation, calling the radio for instructions from the animal rescue station closest to Laptev. No one at the rescue station responded immediately because the weather was too bad. Communication was interrupted. Michael checked the ship, found that they could still move in the iceberg area, but needed to be very careful. Leonard brought some seafood, trying to coax the cub to eat to regain strength. The animal took a small bite, then exhausted, buried its head in the blanket, eyes half closed. The sky was getting darker and darker, the wind howled eerily, Valiant swayed but still moved forward, hoping to soon find a safe anchorage. The cub shivered, occasionally sighing, its mouth unconsciously making sounds calling for its mother. Rosie sat beside the bear, gently stroking its fur, reassuring it with rare warmth. James informed the crew, "We will find a way to reach the nearest ice floe, then use a small boat to bring it to safety." Michael walked quickly to check the rescue equipment, prepare the lifeboat and fuel in case of an emergency move. Leonard and Rosie took turns watching the cub all night, afraid that it would suddenly pass away from this world due to exhaustion. Early in the morning, the snow had stopped falling, the waves were calmer, Valiant slowly glided between the giant ice floes. On the radio, the stuttering signal returned. The rescue station announced that it could contact them via the emergency frequency. James exchanged details about the location, wind strength and condition of the cub, hoping that they would come to the rescue soon. While waiting, Rosie carried the cub onto the small rescue boat that had been prepared, while Leonard took on the role of pilot. Michael stayed on the ship, assisting James in finding an area of thick ice to anchor the ship safely, avoiding risks. The cub shivered as the wind blew through its fur, but still tried to lean towards Rosie, feeling the warmth of a human. Leonard started the engine, darting across the vast ice, carefully avoiding the large cracks. The sun gradually rose, dyeing the blue-gray ice sea with a golden glow, creating a peaceful scene after the terrible storm. Rosie sat next to the cub, hugging it like a child, softly saying, "Don't worry, we'll take you home." The cub licked her hand, her innocent eyes shining with a fragile ray of hope. Finally, they saw the shore on the horizon, where a few rescuers were waiting for the signal. Leonard fired colored flares, signaled for help, then slowly brought the boat to the edge of the ice. The rescue team immediately rushed over, preparing a stretcher, warm blankets, and medical supplies for the cub. Rosie handed the cub over to them, not forgetting to caress and comfort them one last time, reluctant to leave. The cub whimpered softly, raising its small paws as if wanting to cling on, but then obediently followed the kind strangers. Leonard watched, his heart filled with joy for having contributed to saving a poor life. James watched from afar through binoculars, nodding in satisfaction when he saw the bear being held in a warm, thick blanket. Michael on the deck of the Valiant also breathed a sigh of relief, sending his blessings over the radio to the rescue team. The four people reunited on the ship, recounting to each other the tense, adventurous moments they had just experienced. Rosie tearfully said, "I hope it will soon meet its mother, or at least be raised safely." James patted her shoulder, reassuringly, "We have done our best, let Mother Nature decide the rest." The Valiant weighed anchor, continuing its journey in the Laptev Sea, carrying with it a story of kindness amidst the indifferent ice. Leonard kept looking back at the shore, where the cub had just been transferred to the rescue team, smiling slightly. Michael pulled the tarpaulin to block the wind, carefully handling the equipment on the ship, still not forgetting the hardships they had just experienced. James closed his eyes for a few seconds, listening to the sound of ice hitting the side of the ship, feeling the peace after the storm. Rosie leaned against the railing, thinking about the cub's round eyes, about the moment it clung to her hand with trust. The night came, the sky was clear, above the countless stars twinkled down on the vast sea of ice. Somewhere, the rescue station was taking care of the cub, preparing all the necessary conditions for it to recover. Maybe tomorrow, the day after, or a few weeks later, the cub would be released back into the wild, rejoining the herd. As for the sailors of the Valiant, they would forever carry the memory of a brave cub who knocked on the door of human compassion. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.